friends, and welcome back to the More Than Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Angela Walter Hagen, and on this podcast, we live out the verse Ephesians 3:20. Now to him who is able to do immeasurably more than all you can ask or imagine, according to his power that is at work within us through Christ Jesus for all generations. Because we believe as a couple, as husband and wife, that we are truly called to more. More not of counterfeits, of mediocre, but more of what truly matters that will ripple into eternity and impact generations to come. Today, obviously, you can see we have a special guest and my favorite guest on the podcast, my husband, Trevor Hagen. Hi, honey.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for having me back.
People loved you on the other More Than Dating podcast. So that got, I think it's like up there with Nani's episode. It's like constantly either Nani or you are like the top episode right now because people loved hearing your heart and hearing about our dating season.
I think they just loved you. You have like an extra level when we're together. When you're talking to me, you're just more elevated.
So they loved that about me for you. I think they loved us together. Well, it's because we bring out the best in each other, and I'm in love. Speaking of, on our last episode together, we talked about more than dating, and today's special episode is on more than engaged. This season. Now, we are clearly married. Which, do you want to tell them today, our special day that this is launching, that will come out to you?
This episode will air on July 20th, which is our 2-year anniversary.
Our 2-year wedding anniversary.
Already.
I can't get over it. I literally can't.
I feel like it was just yesterday, but then also I feel like I've always been married to you. So it's like this weird thing.
I feel the exact same way. I feel like we've lived so much life together and it's been so much longer. I can't even remember a time before you. But also, it's just been 2 years and we have so much ahead of us.
So much, more.
So much more ahead of us. But more in such a beautiful way that God has designed. And today is our special anniversary, July 20th, our 2-year anniversary, which is so special to us to share parts of our journey with you because God was so at the center of it and made it so beautiful that we believe that any parts of it we learned during it, gleaned from it, failed in it, like that's not just for us to keep. God taught us so much during it, so much wisdom, so much pruning, so much fighting and making up, so much. I mean, honestly,
if you're engaged or dating to be engaged, close to your wedding date, if you're not fighting, I don't know.
I actually heard a counselor say, like, if you haven't fought yet in your relationship, then like that's just not a good sign of health.
Fight about something.
Because you need to be honest enough with each other that you will disagree, and then how to conflict resolution out of that while still loving each other is all a part of a healthy marriage. I think there's a strength too.
I know this is like against a lot of ideas, but I think there's a strength to learning how to fight well. And you can't just learn how to fight well with each other if you don't fight at all. I'm not saying go pick fights for no reason, but if you have an opinion about something and your partner doesn't agree with it or something like that, voice your opinion. Get into those good, deep conversations, even if it might stir some things up, because you're only strengthening your communication and all of that.
Yeah, really. And we're both passionate, and I would say you're very stubborn. You're stubborn. Okay, I'm stubborn too. We're both opinionated.
You get it from your mother.
Oh my gosh.
Shout out
to Mama Walter in the most loving way.
Yeah.
Well, we have good opinions and it has created a lot of great discussion. And I will say that, I mean, just like with anything else, we have gotten better at fighting and loving each other well. Okay. Like we've fought, like you said, well, and that has come with time. I mean, our first few fights, weren't the prettiest, but then as we get to learn how to love each other through that, what you need in a fight, which now I'm already going to tell them we're going to make a More Than Fighting episode or something about that, because I feel like this is a whole different side topic that we started about. But what's funny is that we're talking about engagement, and that was one of the things that just came up in our mind. I just heard actually a speaker say, like, when you're choosing somebody to marry, like, think about choosing the person that you can fight the rest of your life with, because you're going to go through parts of life that aren't perfect all the time, and life is messy, and you're gonna do taxes with this person and get sick with this person and go through financial issues with this person and family conflict, like outside family conflict, and this is your person, and so I want to fight with you the rest of my life, honey. So anyway, getting back to the engagement season, we really want to walk you guys through what our engagement season looked like and how we went to the altar well. And by that, I mean, if you are engaged or one day you want to be engaged or you're remarrying and you're in an engagement season or you're dating now and you're hoping it ends there, this season is not just about preparing for the wedding day, but there's so much more in that. And I think that we can easily overlook it because there's so much that you have to prepare for the wedding. And that can sometimes trump the actual heartbeat of the preparing that is most important for the marriage.
Right.
And so we want to help you do that. Through
tell them how
the bumps on the road, what we walked through, and we kind of boiled it down to 3 things that were really, really important to us, and then we're going to flesh out what those looked like. So one is, I love this because you always reminded me of this, concentrating more on the marriage than the wedding day. Concentrating more on the marriage than the wedding day. And what I mean by that is your marriage will last a lifetime, and your wedding day is one day. And so we want, yes, beautiful things to go into our wedding day. We want to put time and effort into it. Like we did so many beautiful things for our wedding day that were really special and important to us.
We enjoyed our wedding day, but it was also over in 5 minutes.
Right. Like it felt like that.
It was a beautiful day.
Yeah.
But I much prefer the honeymoon where time stands still.
Yeah.
It's a weird effect.
And every day after that actually began our life. And so the fact of the matter is that you kept saying to me, which always helped ground me, was like, at the end of the day, we will be married. Like at the end of the day, we will be married. And then it's our life beginning together. So we wanted to make sure we were concentrating and investing more in what it would look like on the day we woke up after our wedding day versus just that day going perfectly. So we wanted to lay the foundation for that. So concentrating more on your marriage than your wedding day. 2, enjoying the journey and don't rush past the beauty of the engagement season.
There's a lot of hidden gems in the engagement season.
There are a lot of hidden gems in the engagement season. I was always so sad, and sometimes I had patients in my chair, a lot of them, they had an engagement ring on, and I would see it and I'd be over the moon for them, excited. But their response to me was kind of this exasperated, like, oh, I just want it to be here. Or they'd be like so stressed that they would be so sick of it or so tired of it. And this was even before, I remember seeing this before I even met Trevor and in my singleness. And I remember actually praying to God and kind of making an oath to myself to say, like, God, I'm praying so much to be dating and to be married one day. Like, I want this so bad. Like, I pray that I never get to the place where I'm like sick of the parts of it that are involved in getting to the altar. And God really honored that prayer back when I prayed it when I was single, because I believe I really enjoyed the engagement season in such a beautiful way. And I know that, like, we obviously wanted to be married. Like, we wanted to be married, I feel like, since the moment we met. But there was a beauty in slowing down and just saying, hey, I'm only going to be engaged for this short amount of time. I'm going to be married for much longer. And not rushing past that.
We were engaged for a whole year. And because July was the 18th, I think it was July 18th I proposed, and then July 20th the year after is when I when we got married. It builds a lot of patience waiting a whole year to get married, especially when you're a little older. We were 28, almost 30, and the time was ticking, and
Yeah, because we both turned 29, right? And we got married at 30.
That's right. 30 is when we got married. 29 is when we got married. And
we met, we dated a year, then you proposed beautifully, and then we got married 1 year later. So our engagement season was 1 year. So enjoying the beauty of the engagement season, don't rush it. And then 3, have the right goals for your wedding planning and your wedding day. And we're going to break those down.
Okay.
And so I also want to just throw out there for those that are listening, like perhaps you're in a place where you are single it's okay. This is still really important for you. Yeah. Dream. One of the biggest things, like I just said, was the dreaming about these seasons that I would be in one day that helped me hold on to the hope that God put in my heart. Proverbs 13:12 says, hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life. And so longing and dreaming all comes together with what God puts in your heart to desire, but then believing that he will fulfill those plans for you. And so dreaming about that helped me wait for you.
Well, and also your other episode, the More Than Single episode, there's a lot of great information in there, as well as how to prepare yourself for that special someone and that special day and your marriage.
And obviously, if you're dating, this is a huge important episode for you, because ideally engagement is in your future. And if you're engaged, like, listen to this with your partner, because this is going to create great conversations for you to slow down, to look at each other, really set goals for your engagement season, and to make the most out of this time. Because like we said, it is going to be a very short window compared to the lifetime you're going to spend with your spouse.
And I want to just free you of the stereotypes. Men, you can contribute. It's okay. It's actually encouraged to get your hands in there with the planning, with the preparing, choosing and helping. And at the end of the day, if your woman wants to pick their, what they want at the wedding and all that stuff, that's fine, but definitely contribute, because it is a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun.
That's such good advice, because that was one of our greatest bonding parts of our engagement was wedding planning, because it took so much time. So you being a part of it and actually investing, like at the end of the day, I knew you were like, pick whatever you want, because you just wanted me to be happy.
Yeah, I mean.
But the fact is that I really cared, because I love you so much. I was like, well, I want you to envision this day with me. I want you to be happy with things. And so I loved how much you contributed, that you attended every meeting that we had together. And so we get into that more and more.
It feels like we built it together. And I'm not just talking about the wedding stuff. I'm talking about the marriage stuff. I mean, we did we'll get into all the stuff that we did.
We were truly building a life together. I never understood what that meant until actually meeting you and starting, because like I've dated before, but building a life together, I've heard that said, never understood it until meeting you, because we've actually been building since day one. And building,
what's cool about building is you need to have a foundation before you can start building a house. So a lot of the times in our earlier years, if we're dating someone else, we're trying to figure out if this person's worth putting a foundation down. So I think that's the key difference. So if you have someone in your life that you're like, hey, we want this foundation built, then you start building on top of that. That's the time frame you're talking about.
And I think too, like realizing our foundation's the same, and that we
on God
made our foundation on God, and we set that as our expectations early on in our marriage, then everything else could flourish from there, because you and I were aiming at the same goal the whole time. And that is the foundation of our dating, our engagement season, and now our married life, which has truly made it a more than marriage. And I also want to say, though, for people that perhaps have been divorced and are remarrying again, do not count yourself out of the engagement season, because you deserve a beautiful engagement season too. So don't think that you need to rush past that. If life has thrown you some curveballs and maybe you're remarrying, this is still a season that you can enjoy as you go towards the altar for your marriage too.
Yeah, definitely.
So yes, we dated 1 year. You proposed. And then we got married, which I feel like the whole proposal, so we're going to do a whole episode just on our love story, because I feel like that will take up the entire episode if we just talking about that. So I guess we should share that with them during the actual love story episode, your proposal story.
Okay, sure.
We're just going to leave you a cliffhanger of how he proposed. He did it amazing. I'll give you a little hint that it had to do with a beach and a lot of sweating. But it's been 4 years of knowing each other.
A little bit more. That sounds a little.
No, that's it. That's enough. They can look forward to it. But what else they have to look forward to is special announcement is that because it is our 2-year anniversary, we wanted to share with you guys, our More Than family, a little piece of something very intimate to us. So do you want to share with them what we're sharing?
Next week, next
1 week
Monday,
from today.
It's going to be the in-between of episodes, but next Monday, you'll be able to view our videographer took a 5-minute video of our wedding day.
Or he created.
Oh, it's beautiful. So
like
we're
a
gonna share that with you guys. It's basically a little movie trailer.
Yeah, a little sneak peek into our wedding day. So shout out to JR videographer.
Yep.
They did incredible work with our day.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be something that you guys can partake in, because that, I mean, what an intimate part of our life and a clip into who we are that day. So many elements of who make us, what makes us us and what we love. And so we wanted to share that with our More Than family. So I hope that you watch it and it just inspires you for what your love and your marriage and your wedding day can look like in the way that you and your significant other want to create that. But for us, that was so special. Yeah. I cry every time I watch it.
Oh yeah. It's good.
I've showed it to people at work, and every time we're just like in scrums, like crying, wiping our eyes, and then we have to collect ourselves and go. But it truly emulates God's goodness to us.
It's not just a video that's put together really well. It's I don't know. I mean, it's just the magic of the memory of that day and all the special moments. And you know, like I said before, you're flying past so many things to do the day of, and it was very much a blur. Right. But then you watch the video and you're like, I remember these little pockets of time.
That's so true, because actually before watching it, I remember even asking you, like, did we do this? What did I say here? Because like I feel like parts of the day are so fast paced, or you like black out. And watching it back gave us such a gift. And now we watch it on our anniversary every year. But every year, 2 years in, going strong. But it truly encapsulated all of the highlights and the beauty of it, and it just reminds us, and I think that even is something we talked about, and I would encourage couples to do this, like watch your wedding video or your short trailer. I mean, I would encourage even to watch the whole ceremony, because that's what we decided to do on our anniversaries, because it just really reminds you of your vows, what you promise to each other every single year on your wedding day, and just reminds you what you promised each other when life gets really busy.
We have the vow books right over there.
Yeah, right over there. And some flowers from the wedding. Yep. And I know a lot of people say that the wedding day was like the greatest day of their life, which, I honestly feel like I can't say that. And that sounds terrible, but I'll tell you why. Do you want to tell them why too? Because you felt the same way.
It was the greatest start. Mm-hmm. It was the greatest start. I don't know.
It was the greatest start. That's a great way to put it.
The wedding itself was so good. There was so many elements to it.
Yeah, so beautiful.
I mean, we picked so many amazing aspects, elements, whatever. And like I said, it went by so fast. It went by so fast. I mean, I was so nervous, obviously, and she looked so amazingly beautiful in the dress, and I was,
Won't go into
it. It was a lot. It was a lot of greatness. Well, and, but I guess what we can say is, with that, compare that to the day after, for example.
That's what I was going to ask.
The first day where all the dust settles, and now we're married. You know what I mean? Like, there's no more planning, there's no more preparing, there's no more wondering if this family member's going to come.
There's no more going home to my house,
right.
You to your house.
You wake up next to each other, and you decide right then and there what you guys are going to do. And, I remember we were preparing for our honeymoon. We were leaving the next, that following day. So that we had that one day in between of just peace, and we had a beautiful breakfast, and kind of took our time in the morning. Then we went to Target. Shout out Target. But just to get some last minute things for the honeymoon.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is that when we were doing some like fun, I don't know, like marriage questions, like a year after we got married, we just like to ask each other questions just to like, feel like we're dating each other still. And one of the questions, that's actually exactly what I was going to say, which you didn't know, but I was going to say one of the questions was, what has been your favorite day together so far?
Okay.
And you had it like we both, like, I think wrote it down or something, because we both said the same day without knowing that we were going to say it.
Day.
And it was Target Day. It was the day after we got married, because that was like this blissful feeling of, we did it, we're joining lives together. And that is truly, like, the wedding day was so beautiful, but also there's so many emotions, and there's nerves, and there's there's
the photographer.
There's the photographer. There's
do that.
Yeah, there's the pressures and the people, and you're seeing a lot of people, and it's this whirlwind, and you're not eating well that day.
Yep.
And you're having this event that all of your greatest people are coming to, and so you also want everything to go really well. And so I loved that day, but waking up the next day with you beside me and knowing we're starting to build a life together, knowing that you're mine and I'm yours,
right.
It was just this sense of like blissful relief and joy.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, we did ordinary things. Like, we literally went to Target. I needed sandals for the honeymoon because I didn't have them.
Yep.
And we left our hotel, and it was the DoubleTree. So we left our hotel and we got DoubleTree cookies. We ate them in the car. We went to Target, but it was so ordinary. And doing the ordinary as husband and wife, I remember us kind of saying like, again, God, like, help us never forget what it feels like to just know that the gift of being husband and wife is a gift, because one day maybe this ordinary thing will not feel so special. And we wanted it to feel like just running to the grocery store together or going to Target can always feel special, because we worked so hard to get to that point. And so we both loved that day.
I think that speaks to directly what you're saying before, where you have to, when you're dating and engaged, you have to prepare for the marriage, not just the wedding day. I have a handful of friends, their wedding day was the best day for them. And that following day, following week, following month, it was kind of, all right, back to the grindstone, back to the, they're struggling.
Or a really rocky start, because they spent too much time talking about the wedding. And
there's a lot of variables, but I think if you do that strategy where you prepare for the marriage, like we were saying, that's the result of that. Because then it's like, okay, this is what we prepared for, a life together. And everything else just kind of, no matter ups or downs, it all just kind of falls into place after that.
And I would say too, something that I love that you said was, you always describe our wedding day as, do you remember how you describe it?
Oh, imperfectly perfect.
Yeah, imperfectly perfect. And it's true, because our wedding day was not perfect, and you are not going to have a perfect wedding day. Like, sorry to break it to you. Like, I don't think wedding days are perfect.
Things will go wrong.
Things will go wrong. Things will go unexpected. There's so many people involved in a part of it, but it was set apart, and it was holy.
Yeah.
And I believe that if we aim not for perfection, but for holiness, meaning we want it to be set apart, it was surely that, and we want God's hand in it and over it. And what I also said, which you didn't know, so we're so in sync and on the same page with it, is that remember that your wedding isn't the pinnacle. It's just the beginning. It's just the starting line. Because when it feels like it's the pinnacle, there's so much pressure on it that it's like, oh my gosh, unless this is perfect. But it's like, at the end of the day, if the flowers are wrong and the DJ screwed up a few songs, and you two are in sync and you're together and you don't leave each other's side and you're married at the end of it, success. Laugh about it afterwards. Like, we had some funny stories. We didn't even know things that were going wrong at our wedding on our wedding day, because we were so in bliss and love, and then our family did a great job protecting us of things that were going wrong. And after we got back from our honeymoon, they told us. But it was the fact that we were just inseparable by each other's side, and we were in bliss because we knew we were joining lives.
It reminds me of, just a quick side note, reminds me of in the Office TV show, Jim and Pam's wedding.
I love that show.
It's just, I don't know, that always stuck out to me, that one scene. I think she tears her veil on something, like she gets it caught and it tears, and then she's crying, and then he comes in, and they didn't get married yet, but he's, she's then like, oh no, you're not supposed to see me before the wedding, and he takes scissors and he just cuts his tie, like, so there's only a little nub left, and he's like, none of this matters, and like, the heart of that is what I wanted carrying into our wedding. So definitely
you did that. You definitely did that.
Yeah, because there's moments where it's just like, you can't control that. But as long as we're together and, you know, at the end of that day, we're married. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's right. So speaking of that, concentrating more on the marriage and not the wedding day, because it is a lifetime. One of our favorite parts of preparing for our marriage was our premarital counseling.
Yes.
Huge tool. Highly recommended.
Definitely recommend.
Please do premarital counseling. We did this with our pastor at our church. Find a trusted and we believe God-fearing mentor that can walk you through this, because premarital counseling just created a space for us to talk about really deep conversations and ask each other some really difficult questions in a super safe environment with a mediator there.
You know why it's good though? If you don't have those conversations, we're talking children, finances. Finances was such a major one because there's so many aspects of finances.
Traditional
but
roles in the house.
Yeah, exactly. Like what you expect of each other. All of this stuff. If you don't talk about it, and then you get married, and then you start your life together, it goes back to that foundation. It goes back to that foundational piece I was saying. If you're building your marriage on a solid foundation, and that's part of it, it's going to play out differently than if you kind of just get married and the foundation's a little unknown or uncommunicated. If you don't know
it will all hit you, because then life will start and then you're kind of like doing it backwards because you're falling into it and fumbling into it, and then you don't realize it's a problem until you hit that wall of, are we combining bank accounts? Okay, what does that look like? One thing that we kind of fumbled into, because I didn't even think of this as something to talk about prior, was the way we spend our God time, like our morning time.
Oh yeah. That
was something after, in retrospect, that was something I wish we talked about, because I just thought, oh, it'll be so easy. We'll just combine our morning time. And then I was like, oh, no. That took us months to figure out, because I am so different than what he needs in the morning.
You wake up at
I think we just figured that out like a month ago.
You wake up at 5 a.m. with your coffee and the worship music and have your God time. I like to do it before I go to bed. And we
I
right.
did not understand that.
We never really talked about it. But like, what that can do, what that can do, if that's not communicated, and we had, I'll be honest, we had some arguments about it.
Yeah, we did.
Because if you are like, why isn't he having, God time with me in the morning? Why is he doing it by himself at night? Does he not want to do it with me? Does he not want to share? Is he doing it? All these things. Like, the enemy can really just have a field day with that. And so then we finally... Or
one of us, because we love each other, we tried to compromise, because I also was like, well, if he likes to do it like this...
Maybe I'll stay up late.
I can start doing it like this, but then I felt like I did that for a little bit, or vice versa. You did it a little bit for me. Like, you were getting up in the morning, but then you were still feeling off and empty, and then I was, and then we both got tired of doing that, because that's not the way we're fed.
Right.
And then we really finally, tried a few different patterns. Then we were just like, we just need to do it separate. We need to do it our own way, and we've been able to do it beautifully now.
Which brings me to my next point. Communication is everything.
Yeah.
When you're married, you're newlyweds. You guys are, yes, you dated, you were engaged, you did those seasons, but you are now living together. So things that revolve around that, like the chores in the house, devotional time, all those little things, right? Yard work even. It's stuff like that. Talk to each other. Don't feel some weird type of way if they're not doing this or you're doing that, because we're not going to know unless you communicate.
And it's like being proactive and preventative about a fight.
Right.
Because something that which brings us to, so we're talking about the premarital counseling, and we're going to dive into, because you said almost all of them. No, that was perfect. You said almost all of the ones I had written down.
Oh, yeah.
Traditional household roles, financial background,
I didn't even read your notes
praying God time, and then dreaming together about your future kids, and then also expectations for your wedding night. So I had all of those written out.
That's a big one.
But talking about roles, let's start there in the marriage, because growing up, we both had very, very different backgrounds growing up.
Yeah.
And what your parents emulated to you could be very different than one, what you want in your marriage, or two, what your spouse saw and then what they want.
Right.
And FYI too, whatever was done in your past doesn't need to continue in the future just because you've been modeled it one way.
Yeah.
This is really cleaving your mother and father and joining and becoming one with your spouse means that you get to build life together, meaning you get to say and decide, this is what we want as our foundation in our home. This is what we want as husband and wife to partner together in household chores or outside doing things or finances. You get to decide. And so you guys get to literally build, which is what I was talking about in the beginning, is I didn't realize what that actually looked like to say, oh my gosh, everything in this house is here because we touched it. Because we decided we wanted raised beds in the back. We decided we wanted a fence. We decided we wanted to knock that wall down. And like we bought that on this special date and now it's here. We got that at a thrift shop and we redid it. And then outside of the physical, core values, we decided we wanted to build on boom, boom, boom. We decided we wanted to have God time this way. Like the amount you're building is so beautiful. And so there's beauty in that instead of the pressure of it. But that helps you shift your focus from wedding day to in premarital counseling. Okay, what did your traditional roles look like in the past? Because that helped us talk about what you would do and what I would do.
We can take pieces of what we grew up with, what we learned, those character traits. We take pieces of each other's and we kind of reform to make it work.
Yeah. I mean, my mom, she had some part-time jobs, but mostly she was an amazing traditional housewife. Like she did a lot of the roles at home and she was incredible. My dad, we would always joke, can make 3 things, like eggs, hot dogs, and jelly, peanut butter and jelly. Yeah. Like other than that, he was like, we would live off that. Mother's Days when we had to cook, us 3 girls with him when we were really little, like it always ended with somebody in tears. Yeah. Like he just was not good in the kitchen, but he really was our provider. Like he worked really hard. He provided incredibly. We always had what we needed. He was certainly a present father and he balanced that beautifully, but just traditional roles in the home, my mom took those more. And for us joining our lives together, we both have full-time jobs. And so we talked about that would look different in us sharing household responsibilities at home. Like I remember kind of being nervous to tell you like I can't cook or I can cook, but I just don't like to cook. I hate cooking.
You cook some good things.
Thanks, honey. I don't know if that's an insult or compliment.
You're really good at baking. Anything, if it's a dessert, she's the one for it.
Yeah, I'm a great baker. I will not be shy about that.
You're right. That was.
But I was nervous because I also and my grandma
traditional.
She literally owned a dress and only she was Italian straight through. Like she didn't even drive.
The hot pasta sauce with her fist. That's who we're talking about.
Okay, she would just literally provide food for us all the time. Kept the house spotless. Like my grandma was amazing, but she literally didn't drive. She stayed at home. Yeah. Even my papa did all of the doctor's appointments for the kids and she was just home all the time. And so with that, maybe I did have a little bit of pressure feeling oh my gosh, cook, people even say the way to a man's heart is through his stomach, whatever. And I remember being nervous to tell you I don't like cooking. And you were like...
I secretly knew that when we were dating though.
How did you know that?
I think you cooked for my birthday one time.
But my cooking is great when I do it. Honey, what are you talking about? Remember I made you chicken Alfredo? You love that.
That was good. You put
I'm a great
6
cook.
hours in a chicken Alfredo.
I am a great cook when I want to be. I just don't like it. I like recipes. But when I told you that, what did you tell me?
I'm like Ratatouille. I don't read any recipes. I just kind of put this in, put that in.
Exactly. The blessing is that Trevor does love to cook. And so we're blessed and balanced in that way. I love to bake. He likes to cook. We have a full meal. And he actually really enjoys it. It's not just something you're I have to do it, because you love throwing things together and cooking. And so that was a blessing.
We just need to find someone that likes dishes.
Right. Yeah. Send us over this way if you like doing our dishes.
Another example is you love to make organization, like lists and journaling and writing things down, planning your week, scheduling, all these things. And me, I was always just kind of fly by the seat of my pants and, how do I feel about doing this on that day? And I'm just but it is true. I picked up a lot of those good habits because before, when we were dating, we used to fight about stuff. I'd forget stuff, or I wouldn't be organized in some area. So that's another thing where you're blending together, and I learned how to do a lot of the scheduling stuff. So I got a lot better at it.
And now we have a combined Skylight calendar. Shout out to the Skylight calendar. I love it. And it helps us be on the same page for everything.
That is nice. It's synced.
Finances, you mentioned that. Huge one. So talk about our finance journey.
So I've always been bigger in finance. I work in finance for over a decade. Closer to 2 decades now, I guess, total. But it's just, for me, it's simple, it's easy. Investing, putting your money where it matters, all that stuff. When we first met, you had money saved, but we had to have those discussions when we were engaged. And the first time we were like looking at each other's bank accounts and finances and stuff, it was a lot. One, because I was so like this with my finances my whole life, like they're mine. So I had to learn how to, open up and share that.
That was vulnerable for you.
That was a lot.
Which surprised me, because I thought because you were in finance, you'd be like an open book. But when it came to yours,
but there's
you were not.
so many people out there that are like that. And I'm telling you, the moment you're like this with your partner, it just, that whole thing just goes out the window.
Yeah, I think
you don't need a lot of money. It doesn't matter about the amounts or the numbers or the facts or the figures. But the open and honest about it, that's everything. Yeah,
and I think the enemy loves to lie specifically about that, to say like, oh, you do you, like you keep yours, you protect yours, and you've earned it, so now you can spend it the way you like. And so it's like, I'll keep mine, you keep yours, and it'll be less fighting because we're not going to combine. And actually, the opposite is true, because if you're really building a life together and you're doing everything together and you're buying a house or investing in your future or having kids, or you're trying to go to school, or you're trying to, have these goals and visions and dreams, and it's like, okay, well, then now what, does that come out of my bank account or yours? And it's like, it creates fights or when tension. You don't
maybe
talk
not
about
even
it.
Fights, maybe just tension.
And undue pressure. And then there's division in that, because then it's like, well, then I did that last month.
Even if it's unspoken, there's just something that's there.
And also it's like a balancing thing then, because it's like, well, I got it last month, you do it this month.
And a lot of people,
like competition.
The world will tell you that's balancing well. But there's still that divide when you're doing that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I paid for this month, now it's your turn. And then if they're saying, okay, yes, now it's my turn, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's balanced well.
Right.
There's still that divide there.
Or you got your specialty trip last, summer, so I get my washer and dryer this.
It could be anything.
Year. It could be anything. Like, whatever that
is.
Just remember that you're unifying, and we believe that the Bible says you're literally becoming one, and that means in everything. And so that was something that we talked about, and we said the minute we got married, we would combine our finances. And
not only that too, but I mean, if you just look at it from a financial aspect, if you combine your finances, if you combine your direct deposits, your income, and you put them in a money market and you invest, make money off your money, the more you have in, the more you make off of it. I know I'm working right now, but you know what I mean? It's like,
no, but it's so
if
good.
you're separate, you're making, there's
no, but it's so good because you're literally building wealth together too. Again, it goes back to that foundation. If you have the same goals and you're aiming at the same thing with your arrow, then why wouldn't you combine it? Because you will be able to be more effective with your wealth together.
And men, don't get upset about the girl math either. You know about the girl math?
No.
The girl math?
What does that mean?
The girl math is, I call it girl math. You get home from a shopping spree.
Oh, I do know what you're going to say now. But it's true.
You have all these bags. You have all these bags in your hands, and I'm like,
this is true.
I'm like, oh, what happened here? And you're like, you would not believe it. I saved $150.
That's true though.
And then I'm looking at her. I was like, well, you spent $200. She's like, yeah, but I saved $150. Yeah, but
you know what? That's true though, because if I had to buy it at full price in a few months, I'd rather get it on sale now versus having to run out during that.
I call it girl
before Christmas or the birthday party, and it makes sense. So whatever it is, the point is that you guys want to communicate communicate, have open discussion about it. And one huge resource was a Financial Peace University with Dave Ramsey. Yeah. We did that course while we were engaged. We did it through our church, but you can do it in a small group. You can get plugged into a church, but you can just do it online yourself. You can literally buy the course. And
I'll say this with Ramsey, a lot of people are cautious with Dave Ramsey and the team there, just because it's so cut and dry what he says. But what we did is we listened and learned, and then we took the parts of it that fit our life, and we made it work that way, and it's given us a tremendous advantage.
Huge.
Paying off.
No, that's so true. I'm glad you said that, because what it really did was it created the scaffolding for us to have conversations about our finances.
Oh, yeah.
Like it created a specific time, and we did it, I forget if it was like 8 weeks long or something, but it created a 1 to 2 hour time every single week where we would be able to come and say, this is what I'm bringing into the equation. Okay, this is what I want. How are we going to save? What's our retirement look like? What's our goal for our house? What's our good for investing? What are we budgeting? What do we prioritize? Where are we putting our money? Is it on clothing? Is it on vacations? Is it on the future? Are we just investing it now?
And there was a lot when we started the budget plan during the classes. There was a lot of movement with that. Like you don't just pick a budget and stick. Like we had to learn, because we didn't even know when we first got married, we didn't realize how much we spent on food, eating out. Now we have a freezer chest full of stuff that we cook all the time. You know what I mean?
I have a cow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, that's another.
We like healthy meat, and we like to know where they come from. But I mean, yeah, that's exactly right. But also that was a different season, and we were dating and then engaged, and we were running around everywhere, and we didn't have one house together to go back to.
Well, that's
so
true.
We were on the road a lot, and we realized we were spending a lot of money out because it was convenient. So of course, that budget was able to, we were a little bit like, okay, it's a season, but we knew our goal was to cook at home a lot more. Yeah. And that we've been able to do hugely, because we're able now to have more time to go to grocery stores that are, a little cheaper, or, buy things online to know where we're getting our produce from, and then save it in the freezer. We got a garage freezer specifically for that, because we wanted to buy things in bulk at a lower cost. But we would have never had those conversations if we didn't actually look and see how much we were spending on eating out, because that can feel like, if you don't really add it up, you have no idea.
Yeah.
And also, after looking at our finances, we realize, we would much rather eat a few times in and save up for a day trip here. So you can shift it actually gives you more freedom to talk about it. The enemy would love for you to believe that this is going to create issues. Not talking about it is what creates issues. Creating the platform to talk about it gave us so much freedom with our money, and it gave us great opportunity to be in unison and in unity. I remember feeling so bonded to you so many times, and even when we went grocery shopping, because we used the app on our phones for a while, and now we've just gotten good about what we kind of summarize it, but we were really strict on this app early on, and I remember that even created unity. We'd go out to eat, we'd be like, how much was it? Yeah. And then we'd input that, and discipline, Yeah.
And we count receipts at the end of that. I mean, that was the early days, but it created that discipline too, where, we're like, okay, maybe we don't need to get dessert at the restaurant, on our special day.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
We're not limiting ourselves, but we're also, we have that at home. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
well, and too, we were both raised with really different spending habits.
Yep.
I feel like your dad was really quite a spender. My dad was the opposite of being a spender. He was very, very, very frugal.
Right.
So he was my dad was the kind of guy that was no appetizers. You only get water when you go out to a restaurant. So I remember even the first few times we went out, I was like, I'm not going to get a soda or a tea. I was just kind of that's always the way it was. But again, you're building with this person. So we got to merge those two things and say, okay, we are big foodies. So we do want a part of our budget to go out to exploring these new restaurants, but we don't have to do dessert every time, because I'm a better baker and I want to bake at home. So that was our household merging.
That was another great lesson learned about maybe 3 months in, that your baking is better than anything out there.
Thank you, honey. You redeemed yourself from telling me that I was kind of a bad cook, which I'm not. Yeah, so those conversations helped us so much. Don't keep anything separate from each other. Be open books with each other, because this is the person that you're doing everything in life with.
Yeah.
And so the enemy loves division. He wants to try to get in that way. Don't give it to him. Start your marriage on that foundation of combining everything. And we did that.
You know what else causes division?
What's that?
Like, I know a lot of times we're just like, oh, the enemy likes to cause division, but it's pride and selfishness.
Yeah.
That's the real kicker. When we say, okay, this is what I want, I'm going to be selfish in this area, you lose track of what marriage is. And marriage should always be, I want for you. And then and vice versa. She wants for me. And we do it all under the covenant of God. And so if we lose sight of that, the number one thing we can fall short with is becoming I want for me.
Yeah.
Because then that are
I know exactly what you're
saying. There's a lot
honey.
into it, but that's number one.
I know exactly what you're saying, and I think that is, like, again, going back to the foundation is people can think I'm going into marriage because this makes me happy.
Yep.
And that's not why I'm going into marriage. I'm going into marriage because I have a sacrificial love for somebody. And if marriage is reflective of Christ dying for the church and coming for his bride, which the Bible says that the church is his bride, then that literally means we're entering into a sacrificial covenant with each other. And so my prayer every day is, God, how can I love him better? How can I love him more?
Yep.
And I know that you always say that, like, how can I love her more? And how can I sacrifice for her? But through that, it's not like God is like, oh, he wants you to be sad and be a martyr. No, through that, there's so much fulfillment, because it's almost like you're outdoing each other in love. And there, on the other side of that, it just creates people that are well-loved, healthy, joyful, and unified. And so when I think about how does this bring us, one, closer to God and closer to each other, then we both win at the other side of that, always.
You want to give them just maybe one or two examples of how, because we're very different, how we could, or how they could avoid being selfish?
Avoid being selfish.
Like what kind of selfishness does that look like?
Oh my gosh.
I'll say, like, for guys, for example.
Start.
A lot of for the guys, when we get married, we're looking for someone to take care of us, right? Whether that's cooking, cleaning, just kind of creating a home for us to then be able to provide in. So if that's, I think that puts you in a box. If I would think that way, that would minimize who you are and put you in a box to be just that. Sex, for another example. You want to get heavy with it. Sex is another thing. Yeah. You can't just look at your partner as, oh, now we can just have sex. Now that we're married, all this stuff. That's I think more selfish, right? For you.
Yeah, well, I love what you said there, honey, about putting me in a box, because that's so true. I think that's actually really beautiful, because people are so different that it goes back to setting expectations and communicating. And the fact is that because I did feel kind of bad that I'm not like, I think I was a little insecure that I'm like, oh, I'm not a traditional housewife in this way. And I think I've expressed that to you a few times, where I'm like, I'm not, maybe cleaning the same way that, or we share these things a little bit, that I'd feel insecure about it. But you do such a good job of highlighting to me what I do bring, and that you're like, this is why I love you. Like, I love you for all of the reasons that make you you. And that's, I didn't fall in love with you because you can cook for me. And then you always like uplift me as your spouse. And I think that that's huge in just remembering, like, you are the most important voice in your spouse's life. So in the engagement season, when things are heightened and high and stressful and you're, running around doing a million things, the first person you're kind of ready to turn on is each other, because you're with each other all the time. And, if somebody forgets something, then you're like ready to fight. But remember, like, this is the person you're lifting up. This is your number one cheerleader and companion and best friend. So like in the engagement season, just like use those words to lift each other up.
Yeah.
And even what you're saying in intimacy and in sex, that goes back to serving each other. And through that creates the most beautiful union, because when you go into it saying, what can I do to please that other person, not what I can get out of it, that's what creates beauty out of it.
And don't waste an excuse.
That needs a whole episode too.
It does, yeah. Don't waste an excuse on, like, oh, I can flip out on them because I know they love me and they can take it. Don't waste that excuse.
Right, that's so good. Because sometimes you can almost get too comfortable with the person that you know that's your safety. So you're like, I can treat them like crap, or it's easier to freak out versus like being polite with somebody at work.
Right.
But it's like, remember, like, no, this is the person that you really want to give your best to. They shouldn't get your leftovers. They shouldn't get your, crankiest self just because you know they'll be there the next day. Yep. You want to give them the absolute best.
If you start down that path, that will create a pattern, and then
and that will wear you thin.
It'll snowball.
Something else to do. So we talked about finances, getting on the same page with that, huge. The next example that I had, which I think this will answer your question too, honey, about being how did you say it, selfish? Like is casting vision together and dreaming.
Okay, yeah.
Because I think that this almost like helps defend against becoming selfish, because as like one of our favorite things to do together is dream and vision our future and dream. And it puts out there what both of you guys are thinking in your head, but maybe you haven't articulated, because if you don't leave room for the dreaming, your ships can kind of start sailing slowly or drifting slowly apart, like our kayaks. Like I remember you holding my kayak close to yours, because in the water, like it just like slowly drifts apart. And that's essentially what will happen in life. Like unless we are actually holding on to each other's kayaks, even when you're not moving, you will drift. And so creating space to just dream together helps, I think, ward off the me, because you're literally taking both of your hearts and you're putting them out on a platter together, and you're saying, what do you see for the next 5 years? What do you see for this upcoming summer? We have 3 months in the next summer. What are your goals for this summer? What do you want to do? What do you want to fill our free time with? Because that time will go and life will fill it in and get busy. When do you want to start having kids? Okay, you want 5, I want 1. Well, let's talk about that. Like, why do you want that? And then you can really put away some of your selfish desires, because marriage is so much about compromise, but it's so much about, again, the privilege of building your own marriage life together, that it's so amazing.
Yeah.
Just the other day, we were out in the backyard planting. Remember we were dreaming?
When I sprayed you with the hose.
Yes, well, you did do that. But remember we were planting our elderberry tree?
Yep.
And I didn't even know that you were dreaming about, because we have this rock pile out there right now that's annoying me. And I was like, let's get rid of this rock pile. And then you told me you had some dreams for it.
Yeah, I need it. I need the rocks for a patio.
Yeah, I mean...
Don't get rid
right. And what's funny though is that what's amazing, which I love, is that ever since you told me that, you know what? That rock pile doesn't bother me anymore, because I know it has a purpose and you have a plan for it. But I actually didn't know that. And that rock pile has been there since we got married. That rock pile is 2 years old.
Is it?
Yes, remember we got it for the pool that didn't work out, and then
the week of the wedding.
Talk about goals. We fought over this. Tell them
the
this.
Week of the wedding,
tell them this.
They delivered it in the driveway.
Tell them why they delivered it in our driveway.
I ordered it. I thought it would be really cool.
So why you ordered it.
I lived in this house before we got married.
Our current house we're living in, he's talking about. We bought it before we got married, but he fixed it up.
I was living in it and renovating it and fixing it all up. And then after the wedding, you would move in. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, you know what would be really cool if I built a pool. And
he didn't share this with me.
So I was like, I'm going to surprise her with this above ground pool.
So sweet of him.
It was an 18 by 18 circle. It's pretty big. It's pretty big. So I was like, I'm going to surprise her with this. So when she moves in, we have a pool for the whole summer.
What a sweet, great
And it was
thought.
probably one of my best ideas until I realized how unlevel the ground was in the backyard.
If you let me in on his plan and your dream, I would have told you it was a stupid idea. We need to fix the inside of the house before starting the outside of the house. We didn't even have a bathroom yet, and you built a pool outside, and we didn't.
I was working on both projects at the same time.
And the ground wasn't leveled, so we literally started filling up this pool, and it was like lopsided. Then we realized we needed a permit, so then we do everything backwards. The amount of time this took during our engagement season. There's your tip, guys. Don't try to build a pool while you're planning for a wedding, because it's not going to go well. We had so many things to do. It was stressing me out like crazy. We couldn't get it leveled. And so then you ordered those rocks to level our pool, and when did they arrive?
I think it was like 4 days till the wedding.
4 days before our wedding.
So I had to get them out of the driveway.
They were in my driveway, and I was like, I'm going to come home.
It wasn't your house yet.
To this. It wasn't my house yet, because I was moving in after our honeymoon, and I was like, I am not going to come home to a pile of rocks in my driveway.
You didn't.
And I didn't, because how?
My cousin and I
The best man. And you took care of it the day before the wedding.
Yep.
You were moving a rock pile out, because I was like, I will come home from St. Vincent.
Shout out to Zach.
Shout out to Zach. Thanks, best man, for coming in clutch.
That was a big one.
2 days before the wedding. However, coming back to
so
it.
now there's a pile in the backyard, and now we're dreaming about it.
But now we're dreaming about it. But what's funny is that
we're not angry anymore.
And then we're not angry anymore. No, we're not. I'm not angry anymore. But we say this laughing now because we aren't angry anymore. But I was angry. And we did fight. And I cried because I was also just, again, in an engagement season. You have so many pressures. We were fixing up this house that we just
My intentions were good.
His intentions were good. But the communication lacked. The dreaming together lacked. We should have talked about it. And that goes back to advice for you is just talk about it together and be on the same page. Have the same dream so that you can aim together, because my dream was finishing our bathroom.
Bathroom's finished. We still have the pool. We just have to put it up.
Shout out if anybody wants to buy a pool, because we're not putting it up. It's in perfect condition. We've never used it once. What size is it?
18 by 18.
Please message us. We would like to sell it to you.
No, we're going to keep it.
For what?
I'll put it up someday. We're
going to dream about this after the podcast. We're going to talk about it first. Yeah, good alignment there. Anyway, that's a great example. I love you. So aligning, we already talked about, I actually had this. You brought this up earlier, but the quiet time with God.
Yeah.
We already touched on that, but that was something that we did stumble through. Again, a great thing. We both want quiet time with God. Mm-hmm. And here we are fighting about it because you're not getting what you need and I'm not getting what I need. And we're both trying to do it, but we didn't fully talk about it. And what also is important is there's a slow fade, that things that don't go talked about. I slowly saw myself getting agitated, but I was I'm trying to do it, but I'm also not getting what I needed. And then it just months went by, and then all of a sudden I snapped because I was I feel empty and I feel like I've given certain things for this. And here we didn't communicate it well. We didn't talk about it. I didn't express my needs. He didn't express fully what he needed, or I didn't really understand what he needed. And so talk about it.
Yeah.
Talk about the rhythms of your life before you get married. This is all in one, honey. I think we're going to have to do a second episode for part 2 and 3. This is all in one. Part one. Yeah. I know. Because preparing for the marriage over your wedding is probably the most important thing that you need to remember, and keep reminding yourself. Remind your spouse that. Whenever they get stressed, just be hey, no matter what, we're going to be married at the end of the day.
We can turn it into a 2-parter.
Yeah, we are.
Stay tuned.
Well, not yet. Come back to it. I think not yet. We still have to finish. This
has been more than.
This has been more than. Okay, so talking about the devotionals.
Yeah.
Okay, the other thing, again, this is still in preparing for the marriage, not the wedding, premarital counseling. Talking about our wedding night. Huge.
Yeah.
Okay, this is one you may kind of forget about because you're so concentrated on the day. You're okay, once the day over, you're just going to be yay, it's over, and we're so happy, and now we get to go back to our hotel together. No, the expectations for the night are huge, and we did have a great conversation about this a few times before, because I remember the first time we talked about it. I don't know if you remember this.
Yeah.
I do, because it stuck out to me, but you were so cute, because you were I said, okay, so we're going to get back to the hotel room, and then and I had some things in my mind, but you said right away, well, we're gonna be together, like intimate. And I was like, that's what you said.
Hold on. We should preface that this is all based upon what we believe not having sex before marriage.
Right.
This is the biblical way. So.
And that's a whole different episode. Yeah. Like, we don't want to just like drop that little nugget and you'd be like, what in the world? Like, we'll do a whole episode on that and intimacy, that we believe, you know, sex is such a beautiful thing and it is so holy and it is a beautiful union of two becoming one, and we believe it is reserved and anointed under marriage, and it should be something pleasurable for two people to come together, and there's so much safety in it when it's in the confines of marriage, and so so beautiful. But with that being said, we actually both felt, even we took that a step further, because we like kissed and stuff before we got married. But we also took that a step further because ever since we started dating, we fasted different seasons together. So we fasted, we fasted different things. So we would fast like coffee, or we would fast different types of food, or we would fast social media together. And this was a really huge part of our dating process and our engagement. But then you actually came to me with this.
The hardest thing I ever did.
Do you want to tell him what the hardest thing was you ever did?
So, I think it was a month before the
hardest thing he's ever did. He's been to war, people.
the month before the wedding.
You're so cute.
It
was more than a month.
Was it
40 days?
40 days.
Mm-hmm.
A little over a month before the wedding, we decided to. How would you say it?
No kissing.
Just no
Stop kissing. Yeah, no intimacy except hand holding. Like
no more kissing for 40 days.
40 days leading up to the wedding. Well, I mean, I guess you could explain why, because you brought me the idea, actually, and I loved it, and I thought it was beautiful and romantic.
We weren't intimate other than kissing, in our engaged season.
Kissing can get steamy.
In our engaged season, but I wanted there to be just an extra, like that first kiss as husband and wife. I didn't want to just be like, oh, yeah, it's just another kiss. Now that we're just husband and wife, that's the only difference. I wanted to have a greater impact. In my mind, I played out like, oh, we kiss each other goodbye the night before our wedding, and then we're just kissing the next day. I wanted to be, a prolonged period of time before we kissed again, and so I wanted to mean something, and that was hard.
It was
40 days. I mean, we were preparing for our wedding. We were still going out on dates and doing things. We had our dance rehearsals that we did a whole dance at the wedding, and I just like, there was times I couldn't even look at you because I was just like, it's too much.
There was like a little kiss in our dance.
Oh yeah, we had
that
fake
we just faked kiss because we were in the dance. We were gonna kiss on our wedding day,
But that was really special. I mean, it creates discipline. It creates, I guess, strength between us too, that we can trust each other.
Well, it definitely flamed the fire too, because I think that there's just like the tension of wanting to, but not. I think it was so beautiful. Not only was it romantic for you to suggest that, but I think that there was this heated element that really reminded us of the gift of never taking a kiss for granted or never taking intimacy for granted. Because I think you were kind of like, hey, we're going to kiss the rest of our lives. And it reminded both of us of like the single season we came from and how much we prayed for each other, and that we never wanted to take for granted that we will wake up together every day. We will be able to kiss each other whenever we want. We will be able to be intimate whenever we want. And so it just like sharpened all of those senses and it just like reminded us of the weight of the gift of each other. And I am so glad we did that because it made our wedding day kiss so special. It created so much more of like, oh, I just want it so bad.
Right.
And so that was beautiful, preparing for that. But circling back to the wedding night.
The wedding night.
It was hilarious because when we talked about it first at our premarital counseling, we talked about it first and he was like, well, we'll just be intimate. Just
go.
Right.
There was a lot leading up to it.
I said, what in the world? No. Firstly, I'm coming off of a wedding day. I'm probably going to be starving and lightheaded.
I think the first hour when we got back to the honeymoon suite, we eat?
Well, yeah,
we pigged out finally. We didn't eat all day.
We finally ate. Yeah, we got back to the room. My mom got us package of all of our hors d'oeuvres because they didn't have those saved for us, even though they were supposed to. So she got us a bunch of hors d'oeuvres in our meal. So we sat down. We had our hors d'oeuvres. We had some juice and just breathe. We laughed about the wedding day. That was a really special part because we actually reminisced in real time about what just happened, because it was again a whirlwind. Your wedding day is so fast that we just took a minute. We breathed.
Didn't we read all?
You were a lot more tired than you thought you would be, Mr. Go.
Didn't we look at all the pictures and stuff too?
Well, we didn't have pictures yet.
From people's phones? I can't remember.
No, we did open cards.
That's what it was. We opened
cards
and stuff
because we brought back all of our cards to the hotel room.
That's right.
So we talked and we were just taking in the surrealness that we are husband and wife. And so we talked about this before, because the last thing you want to do after a long wedding day when you are exhausted,
failed expectations,
and emotionally you are so vulnerable, the last thing you want to do is be in a place where you want to be intimate and now you're emotionally offending each other.
Right.
Because if we didn't talk about that and he is expecting one thing and I'm expecting a different, and that's just collision. And here's two people that love each other that had a beautiful day, and now all of a sudden you're hurt and you're trying to be intimate. No, you don't want that.
Yeah.
So talk about it. Recharge, decompress, be comfortable with what you're doing and not doing in the bedroom too, because that was huge. We talked about it. We talked about what we, wanted to do, what we didn't want to do. That can also create so much safety, because then again, you're not nobody wants in a romantic moment to feel like you're being rejected, but just because you're not comfortable doing something with your spouse doesn't mean that that's one is wrong or the other.
Right.
You have to learn each other and know what each other needs and love each other that way. So with that, there's no need to feel rejection or embarrassment, and it's so much easier to talk about in the daylight over coffee versus when you're in the bedroom and already feeling all of the things that you want to just be together with. So open, honest discussion. And then lastly, this is the last part of it, because then we will break, because we talked so much about so many beautiful things for the engagement. Plan your honeymoon.
More than just where you're going.
Yes. Plan your honeymoon. Plan your expectations for the honeymoon.
And take one. Even if you don't have the finances right now to do something extravagant, take at least the next day after, the next 2 days after.
The next 2 days, 3 days.
Take some type of small little honeymoon there.
Yes, 100%. This is why. Because, oh my gosh, the feeling that you will have after you get married is this high that is nothing else, because you literally just did it. You did it. You got through the engagement season. You just created this beautiful event with your person.
Yep.
They're your person now forever. And there's this how would you say it other than a high? It's this elation, this bliss that is it's almost if I could put it in a bottle and keep it for later, I would. I feel we kind of have it in ways now, because marriage just keeps getting better and better.
There was something in the wedding cake.
But but it's true that there is something euphoric about those few days after that you just don't want to miss it. Just because if, he's saying, finances or practicality, even if you do
work,
take off. Don't let that stop you from enjoying and pausing and giving yourself what you deserve. There will only ever be one time that you have the next day or the next few days after your wedding. Take it for you two to just be husband and wife, to wake up together, to not have any expectations from anybody else, just you and him, and live in that moment. And if you don't have the finances, do an overnight somewhere. You don't have to go somewhere fancy, or if you do live together, go back. You have a house together already, go back to your house and just say you're going to then honeymoon in your house.
Oh, yeah.
Just take the time. I remember even getting back from St. Vincent, because we took 2 weeks off of work, which I'm so glad that we did that. Most beautiful 2 weeks. We took 2 weeks off. We spent a week in St. Vincent, and then we came home and spent a week in our home together.
Yeah.
I remember even feeling I was sad to leave St. Vincent, but I was I'm just so excited to go home and start real life together. That was
your first time there.
First time in our home together. We ran to Lowe's to get certain things we needed for the bedroom.
And we took that pole down. together.
But we started building our life, and it was just him and I at home, waking up every morning. You're making me coffee and breakfast. You don't do that no more. No, you do. You make me. Yeah, that's true. You made me coffee this morning. You make me coffee. Breakfast is.
We're gonna cut that part out.
We are not. These are real. But it's true. Take a honeymoon. Do it. Whatever you got to do, give yourself a few days of just the feeling and the bliss, because I promise you, I know that people say like, oh, the honeymoon season wears off. But like when you're living a more than marriage, I believe that never has to actually wear off. But what helps you is to have these moments that are like frozen in time where you can reminisce with your spouse, and it's just you and him, and you're like, remember that time that we had this? Remember? And we even got like different mementos from there. We have some sand in a little vial from St. Vincent that we can just look back on and say, hey, these are so beautiful. And then we can recreate those moments here. Shout out to Jenna who got me that little vial for our honeymoon sand, which was so sweet. Okay, so we are going to pause here because there was so much good information in that, and we don't want to rush through this because we really want to help walk alongside of you to walk out the journey of getting to the altar. Because like we said, it's more about the day after you say I do than about the wedding day. And we believe there's so much beauty in that season. So this was just literally our first point, is concentrating more on the marriage than the actual wedding day. And so join us on the next More Than so that you can know our next two advices on how to actually walk through the engagement season so that it can bring about the most in your More Than marriage, because that's truly what builds a More Than marriage. So this has been More Than. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one where we go into our next two parts.
All right.